All right, Elite Code 3, let's do a PSA Express order. This one was shipped off September 10th, and it came back in about 3 weeks, which I think is pretty solid for PSA by their standards. 23 cards, $150 per card. I mean, you can do the math for the subtotal, which is nuts. And the grades, you can kind of come to your own conclusion on how I did. And there's a few here I do not agree with. But and then, that's just the way it is with grading. It's very subjective at times. And the mail truck's missing, so just to get that out of the way, I know in the comments section I'll get a couple people saying, "Where's the mail truck?" But it's missing. It's not lost. It's just not in this video. So we'll start off with 98 Topps bronze. This is the Peyton Manning auto. So PSA 8, it's got this little edging there on the back, but I mean it's on the back. It's not terrible. I think I was thinking an 8.5, but the thing I've noticed with PSA is they don't really do half grades, so it's either an 8 or a 9, and depending on your grader, if they're gonna round up or down, it's kind of can tell you how your order is gonna go based on the mood of the grader. This one had a little edge thing on the back. Or in the front. I don't know. I don't think you guys will be able to see it, but I mean, aside from that, this card's great looking. Probably this is worth a snap out. So I mean, a lot of these I thought I was gonna get 9s on and not 8s. So I mean, it's not really paying the fee on a card like this and getting an 8. It's probably a push. If you're thinking about the value of it raw versus the value of it in an 8. I mean, it is worth a little more than an 8, but it's not much. So, I mean, these 8s are very underwhelming, but when I sent them in, I was thinking they were 9s, so that's just the way it goes. Spin the wheel of PSA and see what grade you get. Here, so, an 8 on the, this is the row 0. This is a sweet one. 250 print. Let's see. Picked up this was from the National. I'm gonna actually show that one later on. We'll just get all these 8s out of the way. So I mean, they were just giving 8s like crazy on these Peyton Manning cards. Die cut. Not that they all deserved higher grades, but the die cut. Let's just see what I had as these grades. I always grade these unbiased. 8.5 to 9. So I thought this was at least an 8.5, but again, they like to do just whole numbers, and they went with the 8 on this one. And then the Future Watch I had as an 8.5, so I thought it was slightly better than an 8, but not good enough to be a 9. It's got a little white on the edge there. It probably has some light surface scratching on the front, but the rest of the card's great. I actually snapped out a PSA 8 on one of these cards that I bought on eBay because it looked really nice. I sent it in, and it got a PSA 9, so that just shows you what I'm talking about. So all 8s, tough grader on those Mannings. I would think at least 3 of those would be 9s and a couple 8.5s, but whatever. After the cards are prepped and sent off, it's out of my hands. This is one I didn't get at all. This LeBron I had as an 8 to 8.5 for sure, so I'm not really sure why. I mean, I do know why, because it's a thicker card, so you subtract 1 or 2 grades, but that's not logical to me. So the Ultimate Game jersey, this will definitely get snapped out. It's not a 6. So that one's misgraded. This entire order kind of sucked, actually, to be honest with you guys. These Upper Deck Ionics Brady's, I had them at 8.5s, and they got 9s, so they got the bump. This time they got rounded up. Could have very easily been 8s. So Futuristics Ionics Brady. I think there's 2 of them. If I sound pissed off, I'm not like that mad, but it is frustrating to pay that much money and deal with the inconsistency from order to order. You don't really know what to expect. This is probably this is the best in the order. This was pre-grade. We had SPX. I had it as a 10. It was actually a BGS 9.5 fake gem. So, but it was graded a long time ago when Beckett graded tougher, and I just saw the card. I took it out. It looked like a 10. I didn't see any reason why it wouldn't get a 10. I was expecting a 9. Just that's the way grades go sometimes. But so if I would have sent that card in the holder and done a crossover, I'd bet all my money that it would come back not crossed over to a PSA 10. So let me know what you guys think about that comment. Finest Rogers, I thought this was an 8. It got a 9. So, I mean, there's a few in here that graded a little higher than I thought. But that's part of the process. This is kind of a weird card because it doesn't have an actual card number. So you see right there, it's blank. I always thought that was kind of curious with Topps and Topps Finest 05. So these thicker exquisites, I mean, I was fighting for 7s on these, which sounds kind of crazy, but this was a Beckett 8.5, and I had this as a nice solid 8, but you got to do the PSA subtraction for thick cards, and this one, take off 1, so it's a 7 with PSA, true grade's an 8. Yeah, 8's what I had. So Peterson. So I don't know if I'll keep it in here or send it to SGC or C. I mean, it's not like it's going to be worth more if it's in an SGC 8 compared to a PSA 7. It's probably worth more than a PSA 7. The Calvin Exquisite, I had this as a 7, but subtract 1, you get a 6. See that corner? And this was like a Beckett 8, I think. But Beckett's got the system with the subgrades where a card like this, like it's not going to have typically centering issues, so it's going to be a 9.5 or 10. So that kind of bumps the whole rest of the card up. So you can have a messed up corner like this and still get an 8 or 8.5 based on the subgrades. And that's why I've talked about it probably 1,000 times, but that's why I do not like subgrades. Because if you have a flaw that is strong enough, it should the card should be graded properly and not get bumped up by another sub. I don't know. That's an interesting topic. I know some people are strong about the subgrades. Yeah, I mean, these two were huge disappointments. I'm not going to lie to you guys. These legacies, I bought them raw from a guy that didn't have a lot of feedback, so I thought they'd probably come in pretty good shape, and they definitely did. This one was the Road 3 Legacy, and I was thinking this was a 9. 8.5 at the lowest, and it came back an 8, so that was definitely disappointing. It's just frustrating. Like, do I want to snap this out, send it again, pay another $150? It's just, I don't know. At some point, you're just like, don't know what to do anymore. And then this one was absolutely beautiful. I had this as a 9.5 to 10, and it came back an 8. Surface was clean. These often have scratching. The back, if you guys just look at the corners, I mean, the corners are like razors. Front's clean. There's no crazy flaws. So I don't understand where the 8 comes from. I mean, at worst, this card's a 9, and on a softer grader, it's a 10. I just don't understand 8 on that card. Here's the Vlad. This one is a 9. That's the Prospect Auto, $4.99. Not sure the value on this one. It's probably into the thousands now for a 9 even. I know 10s are probably, I'm just throwing out numbers, 5,000 or 6,000 would be the guess. I mean, he had a great season, so nice shine on that puppy. This is one where they threw me a bone on this one. They could have given this an 8 pretty easily too. What was the pre-grade on this pup? 8.5. It's got a little surface issue on it, so this one got a 9. Little white right there. Yeah, and my experience, this is just my honesty, grading with PSA, The higher dollar items you send in, like the better cards, the tougher the grading gets, and that's just from experience of all these orders you guys have seen, hundreds of orders. Like these are not the highest end stuff that I send in, but they're pretty damn good cards, and they just get graded a little tougher when they're better cards. So I don't think that's right. Topps Chrome Breezes. I mean, these had scratches. They were off center, so 8s are fine on these. Pretty typical to have some scratching on the 01 Chromes, though, so that shine is filthy. I think they both got 8s. They weren't the best copies. So those got 8s. They're in the 8 to 8.5 range, but again, whole numbers. The rookies and stars, Brady's. These were tough. One I thought was a 7, and one I thought was an 8.5. This is the one I thought was a 7. It's off center. It's got white. All the typical issues you'll see with rookies and stars. A 7 is worth more than raw, but I don't think it's by much. So a 7 on the first one, and this next one I thought was an 8.5. But I don't think they like to utilize that, so it got an 8. I just thought this was definitely a great copy. If you see at the back, there's no chipping on both of these reds. Top corners are clean. It's centered pretty nicely. It's got, see that bottom left. If it didn't have that, this is for sure a 9. But this is an 8.5. It came back an 8. Couple spa Pujols. Let's see what these were. Yeah, I had these in the 8.5 to 9+ range, so right at 9s is what I was thinking on both of these. The Future Watch Pujols, a couple thousand in a 9, I'd say. So first one gets a 9, second one gets a 9, so I mean those are accurate. And the last one was a card I picked up at the National that I spoke about earlier, but it's a 2011 Bowman Chrome Blue Refractor of Harper. And in this whole order, I think we only had 110. But I mean, these are tougher cards, condition-wise, and grading's pretty tough. This one I had is an 8.5, I think, because of centering. But this was a BGS 9 snap out. Actually, it could have been an 8.5. See the top to bottom. Probably not good enough for me to give this a 9, but it got a 9. This was an 8.5 for me, so 150 print, Harper Blue. So that's it, guys. I mean, that order was disappointing. Expensive to grade, too. Over $3,000 in fees. It's just nuts. So frustration, but I'll just keep grinding. And that's how it goes. I'm out.